So, off the back of my review of Star Trek Strange New Worlds, Season 2, Episode 4, I figured it was time to do another addendum. Now, so far, on average, each episode of Strange New Worlds has had a producer count of 21. 21 producers for one show. I mean, that's just absolutely insane. Now, you could say that some of these are just in title only. Even still, surely to them, this must look so bad. Anyway, back to this episode. As I said in my previous review, this episode was pretty poor, but it also has a lot of problems with logic and continuity and the canon of the Prime Directive in Star Trek. However, there were a few extra things once I sat down, really thought about it, and unfortunately had to watch the episode again just to confirm. These are just some of the things that I picked up on. The asteroid that hit this planet about 2,000 years ago. When the landing party arrive, this thing is still smoking away after 2,000 years. Now, it is mentioned later on in the episode by Pike, I believe, that it's a volcano. So which one is it? Is it an impact crater or is it a volcano? Because I don't think they understand how volcanoes really work. Did this asteroid impact the surface so hard that it punched a hole in the crust? I mean, come on. If it punched a hole in the crust, why can we still see the asteroid? Let's simplify it, shall we? This asteroid is still charring away after 2,000 years. If it's not, then it's a volcano, but I don't think it's both. Just while we're on this particular part of the episode, on the shuttle's descent, that Dr. Mbenga is not in his chair. Pike says to everyone to strap in, and Mbenga just stands there. He stands there on the shuttle with high turbulence, and he just doesn't sit down, he doesn't strap in, he doesn't do anything to secure himself. He just stands there, holds the console. Why would you do this? Turbulence, you sit down in your chair and you strap in. And I mean, that's what you do. But not Mbenga. He's too badass to be injured on a shuttlecraft. It's mentioned earlier in the episode that routine exploration of the SM-class planet, and the Enterprise was there before. Pike led an away team down to the surface. This asteroid that creates all this radiation, and the radiation field from the asteroid field that was the result of essentially two moons colliding at some point before 2,000 years ago, and the Enterprise didn't suffer any of the problems that they suffered this time round. Now, why were they unaffected? They would have been in orbit of the planet for longer than that, especially while they investigated what the hell went wrong down there. It's absolutely unreal. I don't understand what the writers are doing. It's like they don't even know what they're writing. They don't know what they've written before. They're writing an episode and they don't actually know what they've written 2 paragraphs ago. Also, on this asteroid field, Spock says the asteroid field is moving in towards the planet and is going to cause problems for the shuttle. That's fine and everything, but at the end of the episode they violate the Prime Directive, haven't already violated it multiple times, and they lift the asteroid back up and put the asteroid back into the asteroid field. And it's not like as if they place it gently, they throw it in there, which in turn could hit another asteroid and another asteroid and another asteroid, and before you know it, you've got an entire billiard ball table full of asteroids heading back to the planet. Oh boy, the writers of this show really do not think about the long-term implications of anything. They don't ask questions about their own work. They don't proof it, they don't check it, they just write this stuff without any thoughts as to the consequences of their actions. But the asteroid field is falling to the planet, so lifting an asteroid off of the planet to get rid of the radiation isn't really going to do this species any good, because the asteroid field is moving towards the planet, and the radiation therefore will also move towards the planet, and they're screwed either way. Again, going back to my review, it's the Prime Directive. You don't mess with things, you don't mess with a species that does not have warp capability, that cannot join the rest of the galaxy. You have to leave them alone. The natural course of evolution. That's the whole point of the Prime Directive, and this is why it is Starfleet's General Order number 1. At one point, Ortegas says that she's going to have to input manual adjustments every 20 minutes to get the Enterprise around the asteroids and the radiation, and a manual course correction every 20 minutes doesn't sound like a big deal for the Enterprise computer, considering the Enterprise computer can pretty much computate and all go on autopilot. This just points to it's Erica or nothing. It's Erica Ortegas or nothing, and that struck me as really odd, because manual adjustments every 20 minutes, that doesn't sound too hard, really. It just struck me as very, very, very peculiar. On that conversation, Spock says, in a very new Spock kind of way, says it's not my fault that the asteroids are causing problems and you can't go on the away mission. And Ortegas pretty much says, you know, you've got to know when to speak and when to keep your bloody mouth shut, which I actually just cringed at. But he's doing his job. He's doing his job. He's notified them of a danger, and she's taking it out on him because she's possibly the most childish character I've ever seen on Star Trek. So this away mission, Pike says, I needed my chief of security, obviously Lieutenant La'an Noonien Kick-Ass Singh. Yeah, he needed Mbenga because he is a good fighter. He's also a doctor. He's the chief medical officer. His duty is to do no harm. He swore an oath, the Hippocratic Oath. In the show, the Hippocratic Oath exists, and it is a staple of a medical officer's duty and morality and ethics. But he is down there because he's a fighter, and he's one of the best fighters on the ship. Does the Enterprise not have anybody else in the security detachments or anything like that? Now, I know red shirts, you know, you don't really want to send too many red shirts because, you know, I'm sure the Enterprise has got quite a limited supply of red shirts, but the senior officers are always the ones going on away missions. Now, Star Trek's done this before, of course, because the senior officers are always the ones to go down, because they're the characters that we're interested in. But there are other officers there as well. Usually, they end up as cannon fodder, but it's like the Makos in Enterprise. They were all highly trained. They were able to kick ass because that's what their job was. They were highly trained military officers, and they were able to subdue. Now, they didn't always get it right, and you know, they didn't always come back alive. The Enterprise must have a security force. You're going up against a warrior race, a warrior culture, as Una stated earlier in the episode, and you're not going to take a security detachment, and you're not going to take any energy weapons, any technology, or tech, as they keep referring to, and it drives me up the wall. But you're not going to take any of that. But you're going to land a shuttle with all the technology on the planet. One big complaint I did have about this episode is the audio on the ringing. The crew have ringing in their ears. They've got tinnitus or tinnitus, depending on where you're from, potato, which means we must also have ringing in our ears. That was ear-bleeding ringing coming through my speakers, and I've only got a little soundbar on my desk, and it was searing, absolutely searing. It's so uncomfortable, and it just kept happening in the episode. I found when ear ringing has been depicted in other shows, other films, that it's not coming through your speakers, bleeding your ears out. It was so uncomfortable. I might be the only one who experienced that. Let me know in the comment section if you experienced that as well. We have the castle on the surface of this planet with the radiation. The castle is made of deposits that protect against the radiation. People inside the castle don't lose their memories and don't experience lost time, but the people outside do, because they're not protected. The Labour class can't really form memories, and they don't really know who they are. They don't have any identity, really. They just, you know, one of them's called Luke, which is a very sort of earthy type name. God, I just can't with this show. I really can't. The castle protects against radiation is apparently very, very magical. It can restore people's memories as well. The memories that they're unable to access or are being blocked by the radiation or potentially destroyed by the radiation. As soon as they go into the castle, everything's fine and they start remembering everything that happened. Now, this guy here who befriends Captain Pike and Laan and Benga, he states very clearly to Pike that he doesn't want the memories back that he's lost, because he feels that it will cause more pain, because he knows he's lost people. And at the end of the episode, he's just in the castle and he gets his memories back, completely, you know, counter to what he wanted. Pike got his memories back. He could have said, right, okay, if you go into this castle, you're going to get your memories back. But if you don't want them back, stay out the castle. So we don't really see that conversation take place, and this guy gets his memories back. At one point in this episode, and it was in my notes to put in my review, but I missed it, there is a point where Spock hails Nurse Chapel. And she goes, "Hi, Spock, what can I do for you?" It's not a very Starfleet response. When someone hails you, you usually say the words, "Bridge to UK Danger Man." Go ahead. You don't go, "Hiya, Spark." For some reason, that really did my head in. There's a lot of logic jumps when the drinker says, "because the story needed to happen." There's a lot of this in Strange New Worlds. There's a lot of things that don't make sense, especially the science part of the show. There's a hell of a lot missing. They throw things in there for the simple point of plot. There's no scientific advisor to the show. There can't be. But there's no one telling them that they can't do stuff. It's like a parent trying to please a child that's written a story that, in it itself, an interesting looking story, but there's no detail, there's no filler, there's no logical explanation as to why things happen. They just happen. And this really grinds my gears. It really winds me up, because there's no actual explanation as to why any of this is happening. This planet suffered an ecological disaster because 2 moons collided and one asteroid fell into that planet, caused catastrophe, and the radiation was wiping people's minds. Radiation, of course, wiping people's minds, but not making them sick in any way. It was simply a neurological deal. But this entire debris field is moving towards the planet. These people are doomed, okay? Doomed. Completely doomed. According to Spock, the asteroid's moving in. The asteroid field is moving towards the planet. They are doomed. So the Enterprise lifting one asteroid off the planet and into the asteroid belt probably just sped things up, to be fair. And Pike says, "Oh, it doesn't seem very natural. An asteroid fell onto a planet. He's a Starfleet officer, and it doesn't feel natural." This show is a complete joke. The only reason I'm watching this show, and this is genuine now, I'm talking to my subscribers, I'm talking to anyone who's watching my videos. I'm not perfect. I don't get everything right all the time, okay? I give you my reaction to the episode, and these addendums are my chance to have a think about the episode. I am not Mr. Intelligent. I am not the best reviewer on YouTube. I am just some poxy guy on a computer in a corner of a room just doing something he enjoys doing, which is making YouTube videos. I am not anyone special, but this show is shocking. I watched New Trek simply to review it. I gave up on the 2nd season of Discovery. Season 1, I stuck with it because I thought every show deserves a chance. Let's give season 2 a shot. And I stopped watching it for 6 months. 2-3 episodes into season 2. And that was it. I was done with it. I didn't want to watch it anymore. But 6 months went by and I thought, you know what? It's all there. I might as well watch it. My God, I was so bored. Season 2 was terrible. And Picard happened as well. I was shocked and dismayed by that. So I decided to start doing YouTube reviews on these episodes of this bad facsimile of Star Trek. So that's where my channel came from. That's where this channel started. I only had one channel back in the day. It was this channel. It wasn't always called UK Dangerman Reviews. It was actually just called UK Dangerman. But this channel evolved into a review channel. I only watch this show to do these reviews and to talk about it. That's the only reason I do it. And I'm telling you now, this is getting tough. This show is getting tough to watch, to waste my time watching this show. And I've had many people say in the comments section that they don't even watch the episode, they just watch my review. And that's great. That's great. It's like a service I'm providing. absolutely fine. But this is hard to watch. You really have to switch your brain off. But Star Trek was never about that. And it absolutely infuriates me to believe that's what it's become. Anyway, that's all I've got for this video. Please like, share and subscribe. And do all the usual stuff on YouTube. YouTube is a bit of a strange creature. And if you don't have an account with Google, then you obviously can't really interact too much with YouTube. But those of you who do have accounts and everything, please hit that like button. Please subscribe to the channel and please share the videos. And I will keep going with these reviews. Until the next video, you look after yourselves, you look after one another, and bye-bye for now.